Follow-up is king. So the hardest job again is follow up on leads for at least a year. Serious. I've got thousands of leads, through working with Proactive. And so we got our work cut out for us. And so every chance we get on Saturdays, I'll even call. I'll even spend an hour, hour and a half when my little boy's taking a nap, and I'll be down in my office just calling and calling. And I'm always getting, 3 to 6 schedules. And that's what you do. That's just what you do. If you own your own business and if you want to keep living in this house and driving the same cars, you got to kind of work. And if you're to the point where you're done with that, then find somebody who can. Find a staff member who's willing to do that, but reimburse them, bonus them. Okay. You got to keep doing this. It's marketing, follow up, follow up. You're out. I don't know how many of you fished and you're out there fishing and you have a little bobber on the water, the red and white ones, and you're just sitting there for half hour, nothing. All of a sudden the bobber goes down and you're thinking, oh, I got to fish on. And so now you're reeling it in and maybe it got off. And so you reel it in and they took the worm. And you're like, oh man, I felt big. I felt like a big one. So you put the other worm on and you throw it out there again. You're going to wait again. So you're going to keep doing this until you catch what you're trying to catch. Well, maybe you need to go down 3 feet or 5 feet, down a little bit deeper in the water, because the bigger the fish, the deeper they are. So all these kind of things. So you're sitting there for hours trying to catch a fish. So what are you, because it's relaxing, you're there. So what are you willing to do to catch that fish, catch that patient, catch that lead to get them to schedule into your office? So we're going to talk about some of the things that I've seen, I've done over there. See, years ago, I had a third out of 75 employees, 30 of them were in my marketing division. Because remember, you got to remember this. When you get out of school and you get into practice, it's 90% marketing, 10% what you know. And if you think it's different than that, maybe do Uber or DoorDash or something, because it's marketing. If you're not willing to do any marketing, well, I didn't go to school for that. Well, you know what? They didn't tell you at your school. Some schools have some marketing programs, like maybe Parker down in Texas, but most schools don't give you the information that you need about getting out there and how to market, how to get in the community, how to get patients to come in. So, a couple years ago, when I saw Proactive marketing social media, I took the call with Andreas, not thinking it was any different. And, it was a free Zoom call, because I've tried other places before that didn't do it for me. It was a month to month. So I tried it for a month, and, it was $4,500 less than I was spending with another group. I was spending $7,500 a month with one group. And after 6 months, guess how many leads I got? I don't want to tell you, because you'll think, oh, he's an idiot. 0, freaking 0. So I'm thinking, well, is this the way it is? I mean, what is going on here? They had awards, they had all this, and I'm going, this is a great company. No. So I spent 50 grand and got rid of them. Didn't make anything up from there. So, you're going to spend money. You got to spend money, make money, but sometimes you're going to lose money with different companies. Well, obviously I've been with Proactive for over a year and a half now. So after we put the ads together for weight loss and neuropathy, I was getting leads the first day, and I was kind of blown away. I was like, what the heck was going on? It's, spending a fraction of what I did a year before. So I had great trainers week after week that helped me with the dashboard, navigating, my why, so I would own it. So I literally know this dashboard, and I'm doing things on their dashboard, the Go High Level dashboard, that I swear 98, 99% of all the doctors aren't doing. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about that. And your coach, your mentor, whoever you have helping you can, walk you through some of this. So what do you do with the lead? As you get a text that can come at any time. Like I get them like middle of the night, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. What are people doing on Facebook? And the crazy thing is, I got a ton of leads on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Like, people were on Facebook. Like, shouldn't they be with their family or something? I don't know. But you're going to get them all time, any time of the day. So most leads during the week, they're at work. They're not supposed to be on Facebook, but they're on Facebook. And again, so you get the lead on the phone. You call them right back. I'm going to call them. Like, you'll get this lead, hit any number now, and they'll connect you to the lead. Well, how many times does that work? Maybe 5% of the time they'll answer the phone. they're not going to answer the phone. So I don't even worry about that, because I know that they're not going to answer, and I'm not going to take my time to do that. Then I also put the leads. I have them on my laptop and on my desktop. You log in to Go High Level, but I also write them down in a book. I have a book that I have all the leads. So wherever I am, I can, if I have a free minutes, free 10 minutes or 20 minutes or half hour, I'm somewhere, I can text them, because I have these great texts that I've developed, and I'll text them and say, hey, just a recent one talking about a machine that I have. So it's called a Zerona for inch loss. And there's a YouTube video from Dr. Oz that was basically doing a presentation about the Zerona on his show about inch loss. And so if you can give them content and provide the link, and I text it to them. So I'm trying to keep all these leads in my herd. They're my herd. I'm going to keep them in the corral, because life, they're at work one day, they fill out this lead, or they fill out this Facebook form, and life gets in their way. Life gets busy. I've had people we've had to follow up to a year before they showed up to the office. A year. Sometimes it happens. People are people are lazy, and until they get to that point where they're in pain, or they want whatever you're offering, then they're like, I should do that. And they're going, oh, now where do I get that number? What? But if you're sending little breadcrumbs to them several times a month, they're going to remember you, and they're going to remember. They're going to go on their phone, and they're going to, or either go to the High Level Proactive site, and they're going to text you. Do you still have that? Whatever if you put them in abandoned or lost or contact no appointment, they can find you again. In fact, I just sent out Monday, I sent out an email campaign with Go High Level. And I said, and I always say, if you're interested in this, text Zerona to this number. So several ladies texted me Zerona, and now they want to schedule, come in for an appointment. You know what? It's follow up. Now, how many times do you call? Well, I start calling after 5. Now, if you can't call, the doctor can't call, then find an employee. I've tried with my phone here, my Droid. I have Verizon. I've contacted Verizon over the last 2 years to try to get my name on the caller ID, Dr. Singleton. And I've talked with many people from the Philippines to India, how they have people answering the phone. And they say, oh yeah, we'll put your name in there, Dr. Singleton. It takes 24 hours to upgrade. So they do that. And then when I contact people, I say, hey, what does it say in your caller ID, who it's coming from? Some will say Dr. Singleton. So it works for like a day or two, and then it doesn't work anymore. So I'm just like, I don't know what to do, because that's why I have to call, let it ring 4 times, hang up, call again. And sometimes I do it 3 times, and then I leave a voicemail. But I also text them. Now, here's something I'm doing in the last month or so. I'm texting them first saying, do you have a minute to talk? This is Dr. Singleton. I will be calling you shortly. So I kind of give them a heads up. They get this text. They go, oh, yeah. So then when they get a phone number, they're able to see, oh, this must be Dr. Singleton. So then they'll answer the phone. But I talked to some lady 2 weeks ago from Verizon. She said, well, Dr. Singleton, here's the problem. All other plans, T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, if the person opts in or pays a little bit extra to have that caller ID, but a lot of people don't have that. So no matter if it's on my end, Verizon, and if the patient doesn't have that option on their phone, it's not going to say my name. That's why we have to call multiple times, so that people will think, oh, this must be important. Okay. We'll even call like up until 7 o'clock. Like Saturday, I was calling on Saturday, and I scheduled 6 appointments this week. Who does that? Now, if you can't call, because we all have some time here and there, people are home. If you can't do that, then you need to have an employee. You ask an employee, say, hey, would you be able to call for an hour or 2 on a Saturday? Well, I'll pay you your normal wage. If you schedule somebody, I'll give you $20. And if they buy a program, I'll give you another $20, or whatever you want to negotiate with them. It's gonna work. So who's going to call these? No, well, I think the doctor needs to do the calling from the beginning. I mean, the doctor, well, I can't do that. I don't, blah, 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 blah. Well, you're marketing, you're talking to your patients all the time. Don't be a wimp. Just call them. And they're so excited when a doctor calls. They're like, oh, I didn't know you were calling. Oh, this is great. I'm so glad to talk to the doctor. So that's going to give you a home run right from the beginning. So do that in the beginning. So then you'll know when you train staff what they're going to expect. Okay. And then you can have staff call. We have our staff calls after hours. And so like during the day, Linda, one of my employees, she takes like a couple of hours, like on a Wednesday, let's say, she'll take a couple hours, go do her laundry and do whatever shopping. And then she'll spend 2 hours from like 5 to 7. Instead of being off at 5, she'll work from 5 to 7. And that works for her. She can do stuff during the day, but then she can be home calling from her phone, the cell phone I bought her. Okay. One story of a doctor who's doing this, who's doing these kind of social media marketing calls. And I said, "Hey, doc, how's it going?" Well, she's only been able to talk to Laney. I think her name was Laney. She's only been able to talk to 10 people. And they had 150 leads in 1 month. And I'm like, when is she calling? And who does Laney, is she one of your telemarketers? She goes, "Oh no, she's works on the front desk." And when does she call? Well, she kind of calls during the day in between patients. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm surprised you got to 10 out of 150. So I said, you need to have somebody again calling after hours. So ask Lane if she wants to work at night, maybe 2 or 3 days a week, and pay her to work at night. And if she can't, find somebody who does, and we'll help train them. We have scripts we have typed up scripts that they can use to call and get people who are home, because people can't answer their phone during the day that work. And by the way, people who work are going to be able to afford programs. So what happens if they don't book? Well, we leave them in the lead column for at least 4 calls. Okay. And so what I do is on my phone, I first call I put in there, and I know exactly what I did. I'll text them. I'll send them pictures of some before and afters, testimonials. And then I'll go back a couple days later and I can see if I called them before. So I actually have a tracking of how many times I've called them before I move them over to contact no appointment. But guess what? They're still warm leads. So on Saturday, you can have, if your staff person says, "Hey, Dr. I have a couple more hours I can spend that I'm not doing anything." Well, if you have a couple more hours, you just call the contact no appointment leads. Go through them, because guess what? They're still warm leads. They still want to do something. That just things happen. Just life happens, and they just haven't been able to think about that. So, the squeaky wheel, gets that grease. It sounds kind of obnoxious what we're doing, but it's the nature of the beast. It's marketing. It's the nature of the beast. And then we confirm the night before. So my assistant, Linda, calls the night before. And so we have a computer software too on desktop that actually lets us know if they're confirmed or left message. So we kind of know from the day before if they're confirmed. And if they're just left message, then I will send them a text saying, "Hey, remember we talked on Monday about your neuropathy program, your neuropathy pain. Just want to let you know that we're excited to see you." And I'll send them a couple more testimonials of somebody who had great results. Proactive also has a calendar. Now you can even go in there and because they're going to get probably like 6 reminders, text, emails. So if it's too much, sometimes the patient will come in and say, "Hey, that's kind of a little bit over the top. I'm getting all these messages from you guys." So you could go in and cut that in half. So instead of getting 6 contacts, within a day or two of their appointment, you can go in there and have them change it to like 1 or 2. So it's all reminders. In fact, a lot of dentists, a lot of other offices send you a text reminder the day before, and then you push yes or no if you still plan or if you want to reschedule. Because a lot of people, like I'm like, "Oh, that's great. I totally almost forgot that appointment." Like with my little boy, I have a 2-year-old, and we take him to his pediatrician, and they'll send out a reminder, and it's great. Fill this out. We got a reminder, and I tell my wife, "Oh, hey, I got a reminder. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's tomorrow at 2:00. Or your dental appointment. They're going to send us. So everybody knows that they're getting reminders. Okay. Now, what do you do with no-shows? One day I had 3 no-shows, and I felt like, well, screaming. I'm like, what the hell? It's like you almost feel like a bunch of idiots, and it just kind of really pisses you off. And so I thought, whatever. So, but we followed up with them the next day or 2. I mean, one lady, her brother died, and I mean, things like this, but they all rescheduled and came in. So a no-show just doesn't mean, because I'll hear a doctor say, "Yeah, it was a no-show." I mean, well, what we're doing now is we're trying to get as many people as we can to prepay for the visit. And if they prepay, we're going to give them something extra special, a product or something. So to get them, like we have a $95 voucher for a contour machine. It's an ultrasound. It's this machine right there, the Ultimate Contour, where you can lose this kind of fat, okay, from one to two or three visits. It's pretty amazing. I mean, I had one lady who lost like 14 inches around her abdomen. I'm going, what the heck? Just had a baby. But we'll kind of say, I'll tell you what, if you prepay for this visit, 95, you'll get 2 treatments. So if somebody prepays, they're going to be more likely to show up, don't you think? Okay. Follow-up is king. So the hardest job, again, is follow up on leads for at least a year. Serious. I've got thousands of leads, through working with Proactive. And so we got our work cut out for us. And so every chance we get on Saturdays, I'll even call. I'll even spend an hour and a half when my little boy's taking a nap, and I'll be down in my office just calling and calling. And I'm always getting, 3 to 6 schedules. And that's what you do. That's just what you do if you own your own business. So Memorial Day, do you take off Memorial Day? No, because you own your own business. So guess what? I'm calling on Memorial Day. Coming up Memorial Day in a couple of weeks, Labor Day, 4th of July. People are home. People are not working on 4th of July. So that's a good time to call. Oh, I can't call that day. I'm going to be with my family. Well, you know what? Tell them you own your own business. And if you want to keep living in this house and driving the same cars, you got to kind of work. And if you're to the point where you're done with that, then find somebody who can. Find a staff member who's willing to do that, but reimburse them, bonus them, okay? You got to keep doing this. It's marketing, follow it, okay? And then I'm doing, again, like I said earlier, reactivation emails and text. So go high level, but Proactive has the ability to go under contacts, and then you can go in and select whatever campaign you're running and send out a drip campaign, email campaign. You can send it all at once, or you can, send it in like I said, it's a drip, so many at a time. Emails and texts, SMS messages. Proactive calls it the reactivation campaign. I do it weekly just to keep, not bugging them, but keep the information coming, just to give them good content of why they should buy this voucher or come in for this. Because I'm doing 3 things right now: weight loss, neuropathy, and 2 weight loss and neuropathy. 2 different kind of weight loss. One's a machine that melts fat off, and I did also decompression here and there, running stuff like that. So now, so the warm leads, again, they're warm. They're it's not cold calls. Years ago, I had a telemarketing center where I had 16 telemarketers, and they were calling cold calls. And from those cold calls, 16, we were scheduling, and we were getting 250 to 300 new patients a month. And that was from our marketing. Okay. So like I said, I had 30 people in my marketing department. So we're paying probably, $50,000 to $60,000 a month in my marketing, but yet that's helping to generate $600,000 to $800,000 a month in services. So again, you got to spend money to make money, right? Check back with the ones that came in, but they didn't buy. So let's say the ones that showed up to your office, like, well, I'm going to think about that. And remember, I always try to do a 2-visit thing. Give them 2 visits so they can at least bring a spouse in, a partner in. Yesterday, I had a person come in, and every time she has neuropathy and her husband came in, and I told him the price, like $6,700. And I'm thinking, she's like, well, I don't know. Can we do that? And her husband's like, yes, we can do that. I want my wife to be taken care of. So that's why you want to have 2 people there, because the spouse that doesn't have the problem, they're going to want to take care of their other spouse, their partner, and to say, I don't want to have to push around them in a wheelchair if they're going to lose their toes and feet. So let's do this, because I have a protocol, what I do to show them that we can reverse this neuropathy problem. Again, warm leads, you got to call them because they've been to your office already. And maybe, guess what? They still have the problem. They still have the problem. And all of a sudden just didn't magically go away. They still have pain, wherever they came in, back pain, neck pain, or whatever, they're still going to have some pain in their body. Or they haven't lost weight and they're still having neuropathy. So that's why it's good to talk to them. And we have different we give them offers of different financial. We have a new finance company that we just started working with, just to give them more options so the patient can do with this. And again, like I said earlier, I like this. The ones who win are the ones who keep going after everyone else has quit. That's what I find when I'm talking to doctors that I help coach, and they're like, yeah, people just didn't show up. I go and I ask them, so again, when were you calling? How many times did you call? Did you call on Saturday? Did you call at night? They're not doing these things. They're just calling during the day. And that's why it doesn't work for them, because they're not willing to put in the effort. I think it's a headspace thing. It's our headspace. They just don't really realize that they have to really put in some effort. Again, marketing is not easy. If you don't want to do the follow-up, then you or your staff then find someone that does and will. Remember, it's a numbers game. Like every day I wake up in the morning, I get down on my phone, I see how many leads I got from Proactive, 3, 4, 5, or 6 over the weekend, up to 12. And I'm thinking, okay, well, there goes a busy. I don't call them on Sunday. I just, leave them home that way. I don't bother them on Sunday, but Saturday I do. But then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we have our work cut out for us to follow up with everybody over the weekend who wanted a voucher for what we're doing. So it's a numbers game, so you have, anything you do is a numbers game. Let's say you have 10 people who schedule come in your office and 5 people show up, you're going to close half of them, 2 to 3 of those. So like the rule of 50%, the law of 50%, when you're trying to, close patients on a program. Again, it's a numbers game. You can't be discouraged, and you can't worry about the fact that, I've heard a doctor say, this doesn't work in my area. I'm like, no, what doesn't work is you don't work in your area, because you can have two doctors, one on the east side, one on the west side, or just on the same street. One doctor's doing it, one doctor's not doing it, because this doctor is willing to work the extra hours or get staff to work extra hours to get new patients to come in. This doctor has the same access, same demographic, same radius, but he's not putting in the effort. Well, I can't bonus my employees to do this. Are you kidding? You have to spend, if you want to generate $20,000 a month more, how much do you think you have to put in? 10%, $2,000. Okay, so 2,000, pay your staff extra to make extra calls on the weekend. They're going to do it. If you can reimburse them, it's worth it. And then when you start selling one here and one there, you're like, wow, I just, double, tripled, quadrupled my ROI for my investment on my staff. And then you'll get it. You'll start to see this really does work. This is amazing. I love this. Okay. So marketing is more than just one phone call. It's the follow-up. So if you'd like any help in your practice on how to get more show-ups, I can help. And if you want to call with me, sometimes you need to get creative, offering something to drive them here. So when I talk to other doctors about they're coming in for back pain, sciatica, whatever, make it so that you can give them a 2-visit protocol, 2 visits. So if the $45 voucher you have is for 1 visit, tell them, if you prepaid the 45, we'll actually give you 2 visits, because we're going to treat you, and then we're going to schedule for another. Let's say we're going to treat you on Tuesday, and then we're going to see you again on Thursday. We want to see how long that relief lasted. Maybe it lasted 2 hours or 2 days. And then you're going to know what program to put you on. I have like 6 different levels of programs according to how that first visit, how they responded to that first visit. And they're going to have more to pay for 2 visits, at $45 to come in for 2 visits, and you'll have 2 chances now to close them. Things like that. And singletonsystems.com is where, what I learned about how I trained over 2,500 clinics, can generate between 10 and 200,000 a month from weight loss, neuropathy, diabetes, pain management, cash programs. That number there is a number to the doctors can call me if they have any question and text me. That's my email if you have any questions, and don't be afraid to ask questions. And if you want to call, if you want to spend some time with me, contact Proactive, and they'll hook you up either on a Monday or a Friday. I'll see what you're doing. Let's see how we can help.